Hello! Thank you for coming to this live stream today, guys. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I've done an AMA in a long time. We've just been doing the Cardano Aura once a week, and it's been taking up a lot of my time. And a lot of you guys are pretty knowledgeable on a lot of Cardano questions now. But like I said, it's been a while, so I think it's time to do one. We're going to be going over a couple things today. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Voltaire. We're obviously going to be doing an AMA. And then also I'm going to be talking about a little bit about the Cardano Aura and then trying to get some feedback from you guys on that. So first off, how are you guys all doing today? Thank you for coming by. If you guys want to support me or my channel, obviously the best way you can do that is just delegating to Bloom or Bloom 2. We have a 2.5 million pledge to secure the network from Sybil attacks. Another way is to download the Brave browser. It blocks ads and the trackers within those ads. So if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, just click that link down below, and I'd really appreciate it. This is just going to be a chill little AMA. I haven't really done one of these, like I said, so I thought it'd be a good time. So, hello, Jago. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by the AMA today. So, voting starts this week. You guys are going to be able to download a app and actually vote with your ADA in the app on the proposals that you would like to get funded. So that's coming later this week. I'm going to be releasing videos on all of that, on how to actually get the ADA token. So this is what I've heard so far. This might not be the case, but from what I've heard, you're going to have to download a version of Daedalus, right? And that version of Daedalus, it's a Daedalus flight version, and then you're going to actually do something within Daedalus to get your voting tokens. And then you can actually use those voting tokens on the app that you download. So that's really the bit of insider information I have on that thus far. So I'll have a video on how to do all that stuff, how to get your voting tokens, how to vote, pretty much everything that you guys need to know I'm going to have. So yeah, we got a couple people joining. Imanti said, can we win any t-shirts today? Maybe I might give out one t-shirt today. John Hamilton, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Muhammad, hello. Jago said, what's going on? Not much, just a nice Monday morning. A lot of cool stuff coming in the future of Cardano. I can't really tell you guys how excited I am to learn all the information that I need to for when Gogan comes around. When Gogan comes out, there's going to be a lot more that I have to know, particularly as a stake pool operator, for processing all the different types of dApps and transactions and all that stuff, and then also voting. So I'm really excited for all that stuff. I get giddy just thinking about it, you know. I love learning, and it's really cool to have an incentive to learn, you know, and the incentive's all you guys. RV said, you're Roy voting. So the voting is actually not going to be in Daedalus. From what I've heard, this may change, but remember, I will have a video the second that all this information's out. I'll have a video teaching you guys how to do it. But from what I've heard, the voting is not going to be in Daedalus. It's not going to be in your Roy. It's going to be specifically in a mobile app that you download, and you have to use Daedalus to get the tokens from your wallet, essentially, right? Because it's hard to say get the tokens because you have ADA. You essentially take a snapshot of your ADA to get the voting tokens, and then you recover that on the mobile app and then vote with the mobile app. So it's a little weird, but I'm sure it'll be different in the future. I'm sure we'll be able to vote with both Daedalus and your Roy. Brian said, what is the name of the app? I don't know, man. If I had to guess, it'd probably be Project Catalyst or Voltaire. My guess is Project Catalyst. Another thing, if we get bored with questions or if we don't have any good questions, I also thought maybe it would be fun to take a look at some proposals together. You know, we have idea scale now, so I thought maybe it would be fun if we got on there and we kind of read some proposals together and maybe left some feedback or some comments, or I just thought that would be fun if we didn't have any good questions. So Ant said, proud to be delegator to Bloom 2. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, Ant. You've been to a lot of these live streams, man. I can't really thank you enough. You know, it means a lot. If you guys noticed, if you looked at Bloom today, Bloom 2 has actually surpassed Bloom. Not in blocks, but in total current stake. Last night, there was a whale that delegated to Bloom 2. It was actually I think it was like a 59 million ADA wallet. So it took Bloom 2 from 30 or 130 million all the way up to 190 million or 180 million. It's pretty crazy. You know, that's a big whale. But Bloom 2 is in the lead now. It's pretty interesting. Malky Dot said, "What will happen with Cardano in November and December?" What do you mean, man? Do you mean with price, or do you mean with releases? Or RV said, "QR code? Question mark. What are you referring to?" James said, "Appreciate your hard work. Got here a little late." No, you're early, man. We just actually got started. We're only 5 minutes in, so you're at the very beginning. I really appreciate you coming by. So if you have any questions, feel free, man. We're just doing a little bit of an AMA, and then we also might look at some proposals, maybe leave some feedback as a community here. Aban said, "Good morning from Melbourne." Good morning, man. Thank you for swinging by. I really appreciate it. It's been the first time we've done an AMA in forever, so it's cool to do one. Imanti said, "Royce 24 seed support and funds withdrawal up next." Did you get that information from the nightly? So what do you mean the funds withdrawal? What supports that? Jago said, "Any news about the Daedalus ranking update?" I haven't heard anything, man. And I think the way Daedalus actually works is it just tells you who pays you the highest rewards, right? So the only way I think to fix that is by raising a knot and making pledge more meaningful, right? Otherwise, you're going to have 1% pool 10 times. You know, I don't think there's really any way to fix that unless they just change the weight and the way they do the ranking. RV said, "Voting snapshot might be a QR code." Yeah, it could be, man. That's a good idea. That might be it. That would work pretty well, you know, if you have to download a version of Daedalus Flight and you can just scan the QR code with your phone. That would work pretty seamlessly. I would like that. Do you have any insider information on the roadmap? I do not. I know that they're definitely working very hardcore on Gogan. The best thing that you can go to actually find some insider information on what's going on is actually to Google Cardano development updates. They release these development updates from each of their developers' teams each week, and that's kind of where you get your insider information. Like recently, I just saw they're actually working on ledger support for Daedalus. You can see a couple releases on that. They've also talked about peer-to-peer for stake pools. They've mentioned that a little bit. So if you guys want some insider information, that's the best way to do it. They don't hide anything or hold anything back from those. It's literally just what the developers have been working on. And you can use that information to kind of make a guess or an estimate on when these releases will be, and you can actually base that on like, okay, they added this for Shelly, and then Shelly was released here. You know, so if you want insider information, I'm not really your guy. They don't really give me anything like that. Coin Fair said, "Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for swinging by today. I really appreciate it." Redman said, "So I know nothing about this voting. Bring me up to speed. 5 W's and how." Okay, so the voting is going to happen this week. I think the voting actually takes place on the 21st, right? So what you're going to be doing is actually voting from within the app. There's going to be kind of some stipulations on how to actually, because each ADA that you have is a vote, right? And you need at least 8,000 ADA to vote. You're actually going to get paid for voting. I actually have a video on this stuff that goes over how much you're going to get paid, how much you need to vote, blah, 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 blah. But as far as when, the 21st, as far as where, it's going to be on the app. And you're going to have to get your tokens somehow from the Daedalus flight. But I'll have a video on that the day you're able to vote on how you guys, step by step, what you have to do and how you can be a part of this. That's kind of what I do here, you know. But yeah, we don't have all of the information, but as soon as I have all the information, I'm going to release it to you guys in a quick video, similar to the how to stake videos, you know, or how to choose the right stake pool. It's going to be probably a 5 to 10 minute video on everything you need to know on the voting process. Motivation Niche, what's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. How are you doing today? Coin Fair said, "Are you going to do a step-by-step on how to vote? We want those rewards." Of course, man. I know I just said that, but I didn't want to leave out your question. Yeah, anything that happens is like anything that is important information that needs a step-by-step guide, even if it's really basic, I'm going to have that information out on my channel. In a way, it's like news, right? So if you guys, if it's something very simple, if it's, oh, I just have to click a few buttons and I'm able to vote, I'm still going to release a video on how to do that because it's news in a way, right? Even if you're smart enough to figure it out yourself, it's important to just know that it's available. And I know a lot of people can't focus on this stuff every day. Imanti said, funds withdrawal does not work now on mobile, only on Chrome. Funds withdrawal from what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I know you mentioned your ROI, but I know you can send and receive funds. Oh, do you mean withdrawal for the voting tokens? Jago said, A-Not increase scares me a little bit, to be honest. It does me too, and it's particularly the way A-Not actually is, right? And that's why I like... I forget his name off the top of my head, but there's this guy that has a proposal on actually readjusting how A-Not works. And it's kind of add like a rise quickly in the beginning, because most people's pledge, I would say, is anywhere from 10,000 ADA to 5 million ADA. But when you increase A-Not, it really weights the people at the top more, the people with 100 million ADA, 200 million ADA. So increasing A-Not, it might not help anybody, and it also actually lowers your rewards, and not just for stake pool operators, it lowers the rewards for everyone. So unless you have a high amount of ADA, so A-Not is a very tricky thing, but I do think that pledge is not weighted as much as it needs to be. So maybe we have to actually rework how A-Not works and maybe add that where it actually weights 500K pledge or a million pledge more than just 100 million or 200 million, because if you only weight 100 million and 200 million, then you're not incentivizing people to not create multiple pools, right? And that was the whole point of A-Not is, a guy can create 2 pools, a guy can create 3 pools if he has enough ADA, but you shouldn't be able to get the same rewards if you have 10 pools. That was the whole point of it, so it does need changed as far as to what, I'm not a scientist, and I know that there are some negatives as far as actually decreasing it. There are 75 people here. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys leave a like on this. There's only 21. I want to see 75 there. It really helps out me in that algorithm. Also, if you guys are longtime fans of the channel, if you guys click that notification bell, apparently the notification bell really helps me in YouTube's algorithm, so I would appreciate that. Colette said, greetings from Dublin. Just got on. Thanks, man. You just hopped on during the beginning. I'll check out what I missed on playback. Thanks to Bloom for my ROA. No problem, man. Thank you for being a delegate. I really appreciate your support. James said, not yet, my good man, but if we keep pumping this channel, you'll be sitting next to Charles in no time. I had a Google meeting with him. I really can't wait until my partner at Bloom, Anthony, I'm sure you guys know him, Schmott in the Discord. Him and I were talking about that earlier, that we actually cannot wait for a Cardano Summit meetup. It's going to be really cool to just meet all of these people that I really talk to almost every day, or at least a couple times a week. It's going to be cool to meet, and honestly, some of you guys, if you guys end up going to the summit as well, it's going to be a nice little cool meetup, and it's probably going to be one of those experiences that I remember for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to that, and so is Anthony. Redman said, cool. No problem. So Stephen Aldrich said, the assessment phase begins 21st, voting happens on the 28th. So I may be wrong. Let's go take a look at that. They must have delayed it. Yeah, okay. So I'll switch screens and show you guys this. And if this is the case, they need to fix this. Let me go to just both. All right, look at this. So right here, 21st October, voting begins via the app. So maybe that means the app is released and then the assessment phase, blah, 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 blah. But they might have delayed it. So that could be what's happening. But that's where I got my information. It's directly from the main page on the Catalyst website. So if that's the case, please fix that. I can only verify so much, So let me switch back to just me. Thanks for that, though, Steven. I really appreciate it. Motivation, you said, I'm good, man. Creating more gear, moving erg to your Roy, just living. Yep, I am. That's another thing I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on your Roy, or not your Roy, erg. We're going to be going over Ergo, what's going on over there, what Emergo is doing, how it relates to Cardano. I'm going to be doing like a big technical deep dive. Maybe not too technical, but a little bit, just my normal style. Just for you said, hello, how are you, sir? I'm doing good, man. Quick question. Why am I receiving less rewards every week? Been like 4 weeks. Thanks. So that's a good question just for you. So what I can guarantee you with Bloom is that the rewards will average out over time, right? So you're going to have good rewards this epoch. So say this epoch, we're guaranteed, not guaranteed, but we're scheduled essentially 91 blocks. Sometimes you can get more than that, right? So 91 blocks, let's say that's like 5% payout. Well, sometimes you'll get more than that. You'll get 100 blocks or 110 blocks. And there's nothing that I can do that gets us more blocks. It's a completely random number generator based on how many blocks that you can get. All I can do is ensure latency, ensure the pool's good, up to date, it's efficient, the networking's all good to go, so it can be online to validate all of those blocks, right? But sometimes it'll be that way. If you're a new delegator, so say you start delegating today and we have a really good epoch, you get 120% so 20% higher than 91 blocks, and you get paid 20% higher than normal. Well, the next 3 or 4 epochs, unless we get lucky again, it may seem as if the rewards are slowly dropping, right? But what happens is you'll have a few epochs that'll be getting lower and lower, and then you'll get a crazy one again, right? And then it'll be like 130 or 115 or 110. So over time, I can guarantee you good rewards, but sometimes you'll have bad epochs and sometimes you'll have good epochs. There was actually an epoch on Bloom 2 where we actually only got 50% of the total blocks in that epoch. And the next epoch, it performed 120%, right? So that doesn't make any sense. Nothing was changed. During that period, the node was never stopped. It was never restarted. Literally the same node in the same state. 50% and then 120% the following epoch. It's a random number generator. That's a good question though, man. Octoman said, we'll have a system like VeChain does. So I don't actually I've never used VeChain, so I can't answer that. Sorry about that. Can you have more than one vote if your ADA split into different wallets? Yes, sir. So you need at least 8,000 ADA minimum to vote. So if you have 8,000 in each of the wallets, I'm sure you'll be able to vote. Yeah, and I'll have a guide on that too. In the guide that I make, I'll have 2 different wallets just to answer that question, because I had a couple people that did that. John Hamilton gave me a super chat for $2. I really appreciate that, man. Rhyme said, greetings from Mexico City. What's up, man? Greetings from Ohio. Grant said, hey man, good stuff. It can't be good stuff without good questions. So thank you guys if you think it's good stuff. Martin said, greetings from Austria. What's up, Martin? Thanks for swinging by today, man. I really appreciate it. Annie Matters said, greetings from Ohio. Greetings. Northeast Stand UO. Northeast Stand. Where's that at? I don't know what that is. I know the Northeast, but L Rhyme said, how did I not see your channel before? Qualite. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Sometimes it just happens that way. I've had a couple people say that to me, but if I keep posting content, so every time I make a video, it's kind of like shooting it in the dark. YouTube does all the work for me. They advertise it. I mean, I do some advertising on Twitter and the other platforms, but the more videos I upload, the more good content I create, the more people I reach, So over time, the people that don't join my channel, they'll eventually find me, So thanks for, I'm happy that today was the day, or earlier this week or whatever. Jago said, any thoughts on the crab statement about retiring their pool? Send me a link, man. I'll look over it and I'll give you my thoughts. Emmanuel said, meet post-COVID in a normal world again, hopefully. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying about that summit, man. That's what we were supposed to have a summit in Japan this year, and I think it was in the spring, and I would have definitely gone to that. I would have loved to do it. But yeah, it's hopefully, I mean, the world just can't go back to not being normal, I'm sure there's going to be some people that try to make this the new norm, but I just don't see people us not going to a new normal, If we do have like some economic ruin, that might ruin the new normal, but I don't think that this is going to be our new normal. Stephen Aldrich said there's a 1 week extension in the refinement phase. Yes, that page needs a fix for sure. Okay, so that was the issue. Sorry about the misinformation earlier in this video. The refinement phase was actually extended another week. So voting in-app will actually start the 28th instead of the 21st. I apologize about that. Captain, I can't say that because I'll get demonetized. Anthony, can you please mute him? He's spamming a bad question over and over again. I mean, honestly, what market cap would ADA be if it was $100 per token? Let's figure that out real quick. He's saying ADA win 100. So let's figure out what market cap that would even be. So we have 100 times, what would that be? We have like 31 billion in circulation. So that would be a $3.1 trillion market cap. So pretty soon, man, I'd say. Is Anthony not here anymore? Am I going to have to mute him myself? I'm sorry for the spam, guys. All right. All right. I got rid of him. Okay, so where was I at? The spam got me sidetracked. I'm sorry. Also, there's 91 people here. Make sure you guys click that like button, turn on the notification bell. It'd really support the channel. I appreciate it. There's only 51 likes, but 91 people. Do you guys not like this? Okay, so what if your 8K ADA sits on a CLI wallet as an operator's pledge? I was actually thinking that same thing, Samsuri. I honestly don't know. Like, for example, Bloom has 5 million ADA pledged. I don't think I'll be able to vote with that because it's obviously sits in cold keys and cold storage. So I think that ADA is just not able to vote unless there's kind of a way around that, you know. And so you said, what does the last column on ADA pools mean? It always says 0. Let me go take a look for you. What last column are you talking about? So for me, the last column is pledge. So maybe you're on mobile or something that's doing it differently. Greetings from Estonia. Thank you. Where is Estonia? I'm not very cultured, but thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. Darren said, what do you think will happen to the ITN? I don't know. I think it might be reworked as a side chain for voting. I'm not sure. Just an idea. Other than that, it might be dead. The ITN might be dead. It might not live on. Oh, you had him blocked and couldn't see his comments. That's funny. Where did you block him elsewhere? Was it on this stream or somewhere else? Yoroi 3.3, rewards withdrawal and more. Oh, okay. You can withdraw the rewards. Okay, I see what you're saying. Cool. Thanks for that information. It'd be 300 billion. No. So you would have to take ADA. I think you're talking about the market cap. But you're going to have to take 31 billion and times that by 100 because there's $100 per token. So it'd be 3 trillion. Vavoom said, overall, how do you view Bloompool's success? I mean, I'm really grateful and humbled by Bloompool's success. It turned out a lot better in terms of feedback from you guys and delegation than I originally thought. You know, I really just, I mean, I planned all this out, and my goal was just to be within the top 150 stake pools and have the business essentially just pay for itself, you know, and it completely surpassed my expectations, and I'm really humbled and I'm really grateful for that. So if that's not what you meant with that question, then feel free to iterate on it a little bit more. Martin gave me a super chat for $20 or 20 euros. I really appreciate that, man. He said, thanks, man. I'm good. Enjoying your vids. Keep doing them. Hey, thank you, Martin. It's nice to see you say that because I usually get a lot of flack from stake pool operators. So seeing you enjoy my videos it means a lot, man. So thank you. And thank you for the super chat. That 20 euros is probably more than my last 3 videos is going to pay. So it means a lot, man. Colette said, there's nothing normal about this state of living. Yeah, I agree with that, man. At least in some places, you know. I mean, some places are completely open up. I mean, in the United States, You can literally go from Ohio, which is we're still locked down. I mean, saunas are still closed, and then you can go south, and then you're in a place where no one wears masks. It's interesting. The United States is interesting, and so some places it might be a normal state of living, and others might not be. And I like that you can kind of have a choice in the United States on essentially what state you want to live in and kind of the ideologies that you align with, Steak and Egg said, love how you pointed out Cardano Scan. I think they're up there in the big three with ADA Pools and Pool Tool. They have a lot of... I actually tried to get him to come on the Cardano Aura, but for whatever reason, him and his team... so I was going to have him on just him. He thought that it was going to be just him, but then I told him that there were going to be other people, and then he wasn't interested in coming on. So I was going to try to do like a big presentation to give a lot more eyes to Cardano Scan, but he just wasn't interested. But yeah, they have a lot of unique information on Cardano Scan that most other like Pool Tool and ADA Pools don't have, So I really do like Cardano Scan. Anthony and I use it all the time. Lilo was responding to where Astana is, and he said, close to Finland, about 70 kilometers overseas. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, so Steven said, keep in mind that we are really early in the voting rollout. Pledged ADA can't be used for voting at this time. Okay. And I don't think it'll be able to be used anytime soon. I just don't see a way for them to do that unless you can sign some sort of transaction that is a proof that you have that ADA in the CLI. I don't really see another way to go about that. Fudian, yeah, so you said, so the operator won't be able to vote. That's not good. Yeah, they won't be able to vote with their pledged data. I agree with that. That's not good. Voyager said, hey, Pay, what do you think 54% participation in staking? How much max can we expect in your view? I think 54% is pretty good. I've heard Charles specifically talk about other cryptocurrencies, and I think 54% is a good start. One thing that I worry about, though, Voyager, as far as the amount that we'll have staked in the future, one thing I specifically worry about is dApps, right? Or, for example, you can get paid for providing liquidity to an exchange. You can get paid for essentially giving your ADA to someone else and allowing them to use that. And if the rewards are higher for providing liquidity to exchanges or for other decentralized applications, we're actually going to see that staked ADA percentage go down, So it's going to be interesting to see kind of the actual market data on what happens when we have a lot of dApps coming out. Because what if there's a dApp that's an initial release and it's backed by IOHK or something? Everyone loves it. And they're providing 20% rewards on ADA staked as liquidity, right? How much stake are we really going to see go down on the total network stake versus the stake that's locked up in these dApps, It's really interesting. I'm going to see, honestly, as far as what it's going to be in the future, without dApps, I would say it would probably go up and up and up and then reach kind of like a hard cap and stay around there. But because dApps are coming, I have no idea where it's going to be in the future, But I think 54% is pretty good right now. And that also means that, at least 54% of the total ADA is active, it's pretty good, at least in my opinion. Some people might disagree with that, though. Yago said, do you think D should decrease a little bit faster? Someone in the Hispanic group mentioned that. I think it could work. So I do think lowering D is a better idea than increasing K at the current price. But as far as do I think it should decrease faster? No. I'm just going to say no right off the bat because it would be good for small operators because it's easier to mint blocks. But at the same time, we don't have the full functionality of the chain, right? We don't have voting on the chain. We don't have Gogan on the chain. So in a way, this is like a safety layer to if anything is messed up, we're not going to just lose everything that we love. You know what I mean? I'd rather do this slow and steady. And that's kind of like what Cardano is. We write peer-reviewed papers and then it comes to code. And that's kind of what this D parameter is doing. It's a slow process. It's a slow ease into total decentralization to where if there is a big hard fork or release that has issues, then we can fix it and correct it, right? So I don't think it really should go lower. I do trust IOHK on that or IOG on that. And if there was a reason to lower it more, if they had the ability to lower it more, I think they would, right? Because they know the effect that D has on small stake pool operators. It's not near as bad now as it was at, say, 90% or 80%, but I don't think it should be lowered faster. I think the initial drop, because remember, it was going to start at 90, and then it was going to go down from 90 to 875 to 85, right? I think that big drop from 90 to 80 was a huge help, right? And I think that's really what they could have done. Annie Matter said, "Wear mask, people. Ohio is scaring me with our rise of cases." Yeah, my grandma actually just said that to me. She said there was a big rise of cases in Ohio. I haven't really looked at the data in a while. But I think it is, at least in Columbus where I live, it's legally required to wear a mask when you leave the house, or at least when you're in a building, or you're within 6 feet of anyone. Moala said, "Burn your shite coin, at least 25% from all supply, and everybody will be happy." So I actually heard Charles talk about this the other day, and I think I agree with him. He said, burning coins is kind of just a pump and dump scheme, in a way. I think I agree with that, because I've been messing around with a little bit of other cryptocurrencies and kind of seeing what they're advertising, and it seems like a lot of the shite coins are coins that burn, and one of the centerpieces of them creating more value is burning the tokens. So I'm not sure if that's really a good thing or not. It's burning tokens. Paul Nola said, "Hello from Wales." Hello, Paul. Thank you for stopping by this live stream today. I really appreciate it, man. I would love to visit Wales someday. I would love to visit a lot of places, though. Annie Matter said, "Any recommendations on anime/manga?" I haven't really watched any anime or manga, so I don't have any recommendations for you. I have met a couple people that are really interested in it, and I think one day I'll dive into some anime or manga, because it's just like a whole different, really avenue of entertainment, and I'm sure there's a lot of like gems in there that I haven't seen, so I do look forward to that the day that I decide. It says there's 120 people here today. I really appreciate you guys all stopping by for the first AMA in a month. If you guys want to support my channel, please leave a like on this. We only got 62. Click that notification bell. It helps me in the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're doing an AMA right now, so any questions about Cardano, Voltaire, Gogan, Bloom, anything, let me know and we'll get it answered. Richard said 100% is around the 6th of March. That's actually my sister's birthday. So two good things happening that day. Richard said, did you talk about Adascan? The website doesn't work anymore. That's interesting. Is Adascan made by IOHK? Let me look it up real quick. Let's look up this infamous Adascan. Yeah, I haven't talked about it, though. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Yeah, and I honestly think that's... So he's stating that 100% decentralization is around the 6th of March. I think that would give you a good idea of when Gogan will be out, because I don't think they're going to release Gogan with us being completely decentralized, So... yeah, Adascan is broken. I just tried it. Yeah, it's completely broken. Sorry about that. So I trust the community, not an entity like IOG. If the community is ready to go, then let's go. So I see where you're coming from. And I agree with that in the sense of I trust the community on their opinions about parameters. But as far as if the communities should decide whether if Cardano is decentralized right now or not, I think that we don't have enough information about Gogan, about how it's going to be released, how the hard fork's coming, if there could be any issues, the risk of releasing it for being completely decentralized. So I don't really trust the community on their opinion on, okay, D should be 0 right now, let's go, we'll take over. I think we at least need to have Gogan and kind of the set structure and the voting needs to be on chain. It doesn't need to be from a voting app. It needs to be within the wallets. I don't think we're there yet, but I see where you're coming from, Greg. Not gig. John Quest said, "There's evidence of projects that do burn, go up in value to immediately retrace and drop back down." Yeah, and that's what Charles said the other day, is you just get a nice little pump, a short-term gain pump when you're just burning the token. Whereas instead of burning the token, what you could do with that token is put it into a treasury and then recirculate that and fund projects that you think would bring value to the currency instead of just burning it for short-term traders, So I think that's why that Cardano doesn't have any burns. George said, "Hey bro, have some pros and cons of running such a large pool. You are still enjoying day to day." Yeah, man, I love running Bloom. I love operating Bloom. I love making content. I love doing all this stuff for you guys. Really, the cons of it. The cons would have to be really the only thing that comes to my mind is just the cost. I mean, the worst part about running a stake pool is the initial learning. And then the marketing phase that comes after that, But once you get past the learning, you know what you're doing, and then you get the marketing down, it's pretty smooth sailing from there. It's really just an enjoyable experience. It's nice to be a part in Cardano's network, because those blocks that we've minted will be on the history forever, And all in all, like I'm really just happy about running a pool. I don't really think about the cons, and I don't think there is any after that initial setup and marketing phase, So day to day, it's just awesome. I really enjoy it, Okay, but thanks for that, Tornaga and George. I will get back to you today. Sorry about the late reply on that. Danny Haystack said, "Hello from Vietnam. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. I think you've joined and viewed from Vietnam a couple times. I remember you." Maban said, "How is the price of ADA going up affect the adoption of Cardano in places like Africa?" I honestly think if the price goes up, I don't know if this is consistent all the time, but as a YouTuber, I have interesting data, right? I can see that as the price goes up, I get more views, right? So one thing that I have to think about when it comes to sustainability of Bloom, and not only Bloom, my YouTube channel, if we see 5 cents again, if we see 3 cents again, my views are probably going to cut in half, right? So as the price goes up, I think you actually do see more adoption, at least from the data that I have. So as the price goes up, I think there will actually be more adoption in Africa. And you also got to realize that, let's say 10 ADA is $10, right? You can always use fractional amount and Lovelaces, So I don't think price and then like the division of the token will really have any effect on adoption in ADA. And I think an increase in price is usually a good thing for adoption, Richard said, Gogan is around 50%, so the 1st of November 2020. I've heard that a lot. I've actually heard multiple people say that Gogan will be coming around 50%, but I don't know if there's validity to that. So they actually did say that we're going to be getting a Gogan roadmap at the end of this month, though. So you know how they do the IOG updates, where Aparna comes on and then Tim. So I think we're going to be getting some more information about Gogan during that. So I'm going to be tuning into that. Make sure you guys do too. There's always a lot of good information in those. So Kevron said, what kind of dApps could be made with just metadata functionality right now? I'm not sure, man. I do have one example of what you can do with the metadata currently, and Spakra. Spakra had a vote where they voted some people onto the board. I was actually part of that vote, but stake pool operators aren't a big fan of me, so I wasn't voted on. But what they actually did was you voted on chain by selecting what you wanted with that metadata. So that's one thing that you can do currently is you can essentially create a transaction and store metadata within the blockchain. So that's essentially what you can do with it, and that's the first functionality. I'm not too knowledgeable on dApps as far as metadata goes to give you some more good examples. I will be, though. I have been learning more about it. Antimatter said, if I switch my delegation to a different stake pool, how many epochs will I miss out and not receive rewards? 0. If you switch, so say you undelegate to a pool and the snapshot days here, you undelegate here, snapshot days here. You just have to delegate to another pool within this window before the snapshot. So you won't miss any rewards unless you miss that snapshot. Akram said, Big Pay, I really love you, but when will we be on the first of the list? We are on 82. I will delegate you with until I'm dead trust. So do you mean, so Akram, type down below what you mean by that. I'm sorry. Do you mean Daedalus ranking or Ada Pools ranking as far as I will delegate to? Yeah, because the ranking system's a little skewed. I'll explain the ranking system if that's what you actually mean. But also there's 120 people here. Make sure you guys leave a like, turn on that notification bell. It would really help me out in that YouTube algorithm. She's a fickle beast. But yeah, type that down below, man. I will get back to you on what you meant by that. I might just go into it anyway. John Hamilton said, why have we not reached our all-time high, in your opinion, even after the Shelley release? That's a good question. So the reason I don't think that we've reached our all-time high is because that all-time high was based on speculation. And also, there was a lot of money coming in to cryptocurrency, and not just ADA. It was in Bitcoin. It was in all of the altcoins, right? So that speculation was on staking. It was on the decentralization of Cardano. It was on Gogan, right? So I don't think we'll see that value until we enter another cryptocurrency bull run and not just an ADA bull run, right? Because we are still attached to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's still attached to the stock market, right? So we're going to need another bull run with all cryptocurrencies before we can see new all-time highs, even if Gogan comes out and it's the best thing ever. Anthony said, Bloom is the coolest job I've ever had. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that's what I think. It's awesome, man. I enjoy the day-to-day. You know, I've been having more, the annoying parts of running a stake pool is the legal part of it. You know, you have to fall in line with the laws of your country, you know, because this stuff's all new. It's all bleeding edge. That really the worst part is dealing with lawyers, you know, dealing with accountants, dealing with all the litigation of doing this stuff, because it's such a gray area. And at any time, the government can just come out and say, yeah, well, we said this. Well, we meant this with what we say. So that's kind of the worst part about it. I should have mentioned that. Stake said, do you see any chance of CS adjusting their current golden ticket implementation to maybe large amounts of these tickets for smaller amounts of ADA for longer than 3 epochs? Yeah, man. I do see them adjusting that egg stake pool. I think that this is just the initial run. They're going to see how it goes. They're going to take feedback, and then they'll change it up. So I don't think they're tied to that in any way. Aban said, is there any way of finding out which country the stake pool is located? There's no way to do that because the actual stake pool IP address is actually hidden. So people use these relays, and these, just imagine the relays as IP addresses, right? So IP address. Well, these connect to the main node, but the main node's hidden, so people can't ping it or try to DDoS it or try to take it down. So there's really no actual way to know where that pool is without knowing the IP address, right? Tony said, Bitcoin hit 10,000 euros today. That's pretty awesome, man. We've been above 10,000 USD for a little bit, so it's cool to hear that we hit 10,000 over there too. Albert said, hi, Big Pay. Have you seen the portrait I painted of Charles? Some 1,200 people on Twitter liked it. That's pretty cool, man. You'll have to @ me in that. If you can, comment on it, @ me. I'll check it out. Yeah, so Anthony said that's amazing work. I haven't seen that photo yet. Oh, so Akram said Daedalus ranking. Okay, so Daedalus ranking has no effect on the rewards that I pay you. Just because you're number 1 in Daedalus doesn't mean you have a better pool than somebody else, right? I mean, for example, we have a 2.5 million pledge. I mean, we have a higher pledge than most pools. And Daedalus, I think, does not reflect pledge enough. It doesn't reflect other factors. And if you actually go take a look at the Daedalus ranking, look who's at the top. It's like 1% pool over and over again. You'll have some ocean pools. You'll have some other pools. But Daedalus ranking has no effect on the rewards that I pay you. It's just a ranking system, right? So if you look at Ada Pools has a completely different ranking system. In the Yoroi wallet actually uses Ada Pools to display the different stake pools, right? So, for example, if I was ranked 500 on Ada Pools, it doesn't have any effect on the actual rewards I pay you. That's just my rank relative to the formula that they've created to rank the pools, right? So Ada Pools really cares about small pools, right? So they've been changing and tweaking the ranking system to where Bloom was number 1 on Ada Pools for a long time. And then it switched it. They changed the ranking system, so now we're 150, even though that we've changed nothing. It's the same with Daedalus. Bloom was ranked 7 on Daedalus for like 4 or 5 epochs, and it's not anymore, right? Just the ranking system doesn't change. We haven't changed anything to change the ranking system. So I hope that answers your question. There's a really good turnout today, though, guys. I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting 123 people. So awesome. So where was I at? Okay. The more features loaded into the cell phone apps, the better. Yeah, a lot of people like cell phone. I'm not a mobile guy myself. I like to do everything on desktop. I don't know. There's something about clicking, like just using a phone. I know it's very intuitive, and I know it just makes sense to touch things. I like efficiency more than I like simplicity, you know? And I feel like I'm much more efficient with a mouse and keyboard. Yeah, Anthony said all the ranking systems are crazy. Agreed. So how do you know when a pool is saturated? Is Bloompool saturated? Bloom and Bloom 2 is not saturated. The best way that you can see saturation is go to pooltool.io or Ada Pools, and it'll show you right on there if they're saturated. Saturation point is the amount of delegation they have, and that's around 210 million, I think. 210, 211 million, give or take 3 or 5 million. That's about where it's at. So if your pool has greater than, I'd say, 210 million, then it's completely saturated. Good question, though, man. Martin said, simple usage of using the metadata would be to have an additional description or a similar field for transactions in the wallets, like you're entering an invoice numbers or so in the... Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, thanks for that information, Martin. Yeah, I actually saw... I had Sebastian on the Cardano Aura episode 1, and that's what he mentioned. He said that. He talked about... actually wanting to add some sort of metadata within your ROI where people can send descriptions with transactions. I thought that was an interesting idea. Egg said, me either, but glad you agree. Thanks as always. No problem, man. Thanks for coming to my streams as always. I appreciate it. Richard said, how can I see this piece of art? Albert, if you want to post the link to your artwork in the chat, go for it, man. I don't have any problem with it. I love art. True decentralization with 1,000, or what is that? That's 100,000. 100,000 K value will only come when everyone can run a pool from a cell phone on a simple app. Not everyone can make an office pool or a hockey pool. I mean, how many people are really going to set up a stake pool? We need more in everyone. Millions for global true decentralization. I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Ada. Do you really want the world's leading financial operating system running on mobile phones across the world? I don't. I want good servers. You know, I want good infrastructure. I want low latency. I want nice fast response times. I think there is a nice balance between decentralization and paying the people running the network enough, right? You cannot pay 10,000 people to run a stake pool right now. You cannot pay 100,000 people to run a stake pool. And I also think that the amount that you pay them needs to be enough to host good servers that aren't on mobile phones, you know? And it's more of a philosophical question on is how decentralized does Cardano truly need to be, right? Because I think we're already more decentralized than Bitcoin, right? So it's will 100,000 stake pools really is that what we need, and what benefits will actually come from that? Or will there be more congestion, or will there be more latency due to less efficient nodes, you know? Are you planning on making a third Bloompool when K increases, Kevron? Yes, I am. Some pools websites let you know where they are from. Oh yeah. People can tell you where they're from, but it's not verifiable, you know. And I was kind of like responding in a verifiable sense. Can we do Friday or Saturday night on crypto happy hours and talk Cardano? Yeah, I've been thinking about doing more of a schedule. You know, would you guys like to see like an AMA style like this on a schedule? Would you guys like to see the Cardano Aura on a schedule? Also, what have you guys been thinking of the Cardano Aura thus far? What are your opinions? What are your suggestions? What is your feedback? Have you guys been enjoying the podcast? Greg said, I believe once Gogan is out, there'll be a lot more transactions and the price will go up for ADA. Exactly. And another thing, when there's more transactions happening within the network, then stake pool operators are actually paid more. So it's good news. So Brian said, I can confirm that a Charles AMA, he said, Gogan HFC event was aimed at D equals 0.5. You're right. I do remember him saying that, Brian, but he could be wrong. You know, there could be more delays. This is some complicated stuff. And just the fact that we haven't heard more news about it, and that is actually coming pretty soon, I don't think it's going to be happening. I don't think D equals 0.5 will be the hard fork combinator event for Gogan. I mean, maybe it's a small change, a small hard fork combinator event that'll take us further, take us closer to Gogan. But I don't think that's going to be the big one, you know. Ada said, your Roy should have an option to install a full node with remote managed relays somehow. Then you would have a light wallet with a full node option for Android and iPhone. So that's essentially what's happening with your Roy, though. When you start up your Roy, you're essentially connecting to Emergo's full node, right? So, I mean, in a way, that's already what's happening, you know. Steven said, love your live streams. I try to catch them live when I can. Thanks, man. But yeah, that's why I try to keep them. I always try to re-upload them afterwards so you guys can catch them even when they're not live. So thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Chupacabra said, are you a programmer? Kinda. I would like to be a good programmer. What language do I use? So I know a little bit of Java, and I know a little bit of JavaScript. I'm really going to dive deep with Plutus when it comes out. So Sassy Boy said, just got here. No worries. We always re-upload these, so you'll be able to catch it. But I do appreciate you coming by. We're 50 minutes in, so we do got a little bit longer. But thank you, man. Yeah, Andy Matter said we're like 3 or 4 epochs away from D equals 0.5. Exactly. That's why I think we would have heard more information by now if that was going to be the big one, you know. Imani said, one day we'll have an ADA pool chip implanted under our skin. Yeah, and I'll sell some Bloom ADA chips too, you know. That's terrifying, man. Hi BP. Do you think we can build a DApp on Cardano that uses Bluetooth for peer-to-peer data transfers and put it on the chain directly? Of course, when Gogan is there. I think that would have to be something that could happen. It might have to use sidechains, though. Ada said, I agree. We are already in the most decentralized project out there. I'm just brainstorming for the future. True, tipping point of mass adoption. Frankly, I love making free money every 5 days. We all do, man. It's not free money, though. You do have to have a part in the network. Arun said, is there a min ADA to pledge to a stake pool? Nope, 0. You can have a stake pool with 0 pledge. Pay. Where's a good website for a good description and effects of all of these Cardano network parameters? I really don't know of one. I know a basic guide. So if you click on my YouTube channel and you go all the way back to about July, they released all of the parameters on what they are right now. There's a link in that description, and it's the link I go over in the video, and it goes over every single parameter, but it's more of a general description. So that video is going to be called, they've released all of the parameters, what I think. It's going to be something along those lines. So I would like someone to pick up a shovel and just make like a good website with so much information about everything, you know, about the parameters, about like, I feel like that's not there, you know. Attila said, I'm an active delegator on both Bloom and Bloom 2. What happened to our ranking? Why did we go from top 10 to the top 100 when we are doing so well as a stake pool? It's because the ranking systems on ADA pools and on Daedalus. So ADA pools actually changed the ranking system. So we went from number 1 to number 100 and nothing changed, right? And same with Daedalus. We were number 7 and then we're thinking like 80 to 100 now. The ranking systems don't mean anything. And if you look on Daedalus, you can see like 5 to 10 1% pools in the top 20 ranks, right? So to me, that means that I don't really agree with the ranking system, right? I don't like the way it's ranked. I don't think 1% pools should be in the top 20 ranks. And that's the thing, is from us being ranked number 1 to rank number 100, nothing has changed. We still pay the same amount of rewards. We still have the same parameters. We have the same servers. Everything's just as efficient. We have the same latency. So there's no reason that we should be ranked higher other than that. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? The ranking system does not affect rewards. So I hope that answers your question. If I didn't, just feel free to ask more. At d equals 0.5, automatic decentralization will stop. So hard fork combinator will likely be at 0.5, not just the 1st of November. That's interesting. I didn't know that the automatic was going to stop. Do you have any data on that, Russian? Can you send me a link to that? Can you talk about how we can invest / timeshare into a stake pool without actually operating the stake pool? So yeah, I've actually been doing, if you guys want to email me, I'll send it in the link down below. I've actually been doing stake pool consultations, where you guys, if you need help building a stake pool or you'd like someone to run a stake pool for you, you can just email me at peyton@bloompool.io, and we can talk about that. So the only way to do that, sassy boy, would be to have someone operate a stake pool for you, or you create a timeshare of sort and then just delegate it to another stake pool, right? So isn't decentralized just yet? Once we reach d equals 0, you're right. So I shouldn't have said we're already more decentralized than Bitcoin, but if we were at d equals 0, we would be, right? John Hamilton said, gotta run. Appreciate all your hard work. May the bloom be with you. Same with you, John. I appreciate you swinging by today, man. It's always a pleasure to have you. Jago said, would 0.5D be stopped for a while, or will it continue at the same pace? Russian Biscuit just said it will stop. But from my knowledge, I thought it was going to continue going. But it would make sense why it would stop at 0.5. Is there any way to link a Yoroi wallet to the info in my Daedalus wallet? Yeah. All you got to do is take that 24-word recovery phrase. You open up Yoroi, you type it in, and you'll have the same wallet on Yoroi and the same wallet on Daedalus at the same time. I have that. I use Daedalus and Yoroi. Baby Whale said, thanks, man. I appreciate your help. No problem. Yep, Brian said, decentralization may pause at 0.5. Yeah. Arun said, how much does it cost to run a stake pool? Have you set up a standalone server at home, or do you use Azure VM servers? If it is Azure, so Azure is Amazon, Azure is either Amazon or Microsoft, and I know Azure and Amazon both cost a lot of money. So if I were to recommend any service provider to use, I would say DigitalOcean's good, or any server provider that's not like the big three. Google's expensive, Amazon's expensive, and so is Microsoft. So as far as what does it cost, that's dependent on you. You can set up cheaper nodes, you can set up better nodes, you can set up more relays. It's very variable, I think you can get an okay stake pool service running for around 60 to 80 bucks a month, I mean, that's on the cheaper side, but it's possible. Wayne said, are you on 1.21 version, if any issues? I am not on 1.21. I usually wait a little bit. Thank you for linking that video. Yep, thanks for that, Anthony. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Baby Whale Crypto said, yeah, rankings are subjective. Go to any crypto website and you'll see that it's a different set of rankings. Exactly. My rewards that I pay you guys have not changed. I haven't changed any parameters or anything that would change the amount of rewards that I pay you. So that's just take the ranking with a grain of salt. If you think you found a good pool that you trust, the ranking system shouldn't change your opinion on how you value that pool, because it doesn't change how much that pool pays you. So thanks for that, Baby Whale Crypto. I really appreciate it. Baby Will said, thanks, Pay. I'm trying to start my own pool. Got to run. Your channel is very informative. Thank you, man. I wish you the best of luck with your stake pool. Yeah, Baby Whale got all those right for the different platforms. Russian said it was an AMA that Charles gave. Can't remember which one, but the idea was to give full functionality before moving on to the full decentralization to make sure the network was stable. Yeah, I agree with you, man, and that's why I don't think that we should just go D equals 0 all of a sudden. JCO said, how far are we from D equals 0? I think we're at like 64% away from D equals 0. Google allows for dynamic allocation of resources. Yeah. Google has some pretty cool stuff. So does Amazon. I'm not really like bashing those services. I'm just saying for a small stake pool operator, they're way too expensive. JJ Burns said, yo, Pay, what's going on? What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by, JJ. It's nice to have you back. Aban said, I didn't know you could have the same wallet on Daedalus and Yoroi. Cheers for that. No problem. Yep, I didn't know that either. I just actually tested it out about 3 weeks ago and realized, I was like, heck yeah. Michael Reed said, how much ADA do I need if I'm thinking of starting my own pool? 0. You need 0 ADA, but it is important to pledge to secure the network from Sybil attacks, so as much ADA as you can pledge. Aran said, what is D equals 0 or 0.5? So D is a parameter within Cardano that relates to decentralization. And we are currently at D equals, I want to say so it's 64%. So 36% of the blocks are being made by stake pools, and then IOHK with the federated nodes is making the rest of the blocks. And the reason that it's a slow descent into decentralization is to secure the network in case, release Gogan and there's issues, or there's issues with Voltaire, or stake pool operators aren't competent enough yet. There's an issue with the node software. So when you say D equals 0.5, you're essentially stating that 50% of the blocks are made by stake pools and 50% of the blocks are made by the federated nodes at IOHK. Daniel said, thanks. No problem, Daniel. Thanks for swinging by. Jago said, maybe they would not change K before D equals 0.5. I think they're not going to change K until we have a price increase. It just doesn't make much sense to me to increase K without a price increase. So, to give you guys some information on why I say that is to have a pool that pays for itself. I mean, this is a very vague question, right? Because pools can cost more depending on where you are, depending on who you're getting servers from. But I would say to have a pool that pays for itself, you need, at the current price, about 30 million ADA, right? So then now, let's talk about if we increased K to 275. Well, that would bring the saturation value to around 100 million, 110 million ADA. Right? So you're sitting at 100 and 110 million ADA, but you're profitable at 25 million ADA. Not profitable, but you're breaking even, right? So, I mean, that's 25% of the way to the max. So, I mean, that just kind of gives you guys some information about, and that's on the low end, that calculation is you're working 10 hours a week at $15 an hour. You're not spending any money on marketing. You're not spending any time on marketing. That's literally just node cost with 10 hours at $15 an hour a week. So, Eye of the King came by. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate it. JCO said, what time are we looking at? Conservative estimate from D equals 0. I have no idea, man. A lot of people are saying that Charles mentioned that they will pause at D equals 0.5. So at the current rate, we wouldn't be completely decentralized until March. So if we're pausing it, who knows, Rain Morgan said, have you considered running a Raspberry Pi cluster with Kubernetes? So each new Pi is a quad 4 processor with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So why not cluster 4 Pis? I don't really have experience on Pis. I got to be honest with you. I think those are Rock Pis. Or you said Raspberry Pi, but it's a lot of RAM for a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, I just run on normal Linux servers, so I don't have any experience on them. I do know that someone has got a stake pool working on either a Rock Pi or Raspberry Pi. So Michael Reed said, what would be considered a competitive pledge amount? I would say the average off the top of my head would be somewhere between 100 and 200,000. A competitive pledge amount, I'd say, would be like 500,000 ADA, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So, but you kind of do need a lot of money to be competitive in this market. JJ Burns said, when do you think Gogan will be released? I got no idea, man. I know a little bit of Gogan is already here with metadata within transactions, but as far as the big one, the big final release, I got no idea. Heart Sweet said, what language is this? This is in English. Yep, can't wait for Gogan. Yeah, none of us can wait for Gogan. We're too excited. You know, when Gogan, man. Rob Gregg said, should I trust a pool with zero pledge? I wouldn't delegate to a pool with zero pledge. To me, I feel like an operator needs to have some skin in the game. You know, I mean, that's kind of my whole business model. So there's clearly some bias there, but I would never delegate to a pool with zero pledge. I probably wouldn't delegate to a pool with less than 10,000 ADA pledge. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, you have to have 500,000 ADA for me to delegate to you, but you have to have at least 10,000, man, because you have to have some skin in the game. You have to lock up some ADA and say, this is locked up in the pool. You know, and that's kind of what I meant by my 2.5 million pledge in both pools. It's saying I am here for Cardano and I'm here to stay. You know, I'm not just a YouTuber who's coming in here. I'm trying to get as much value as I can and then I'm leaving. I am here for Cardano, right? I think zero pledge states to me that you're not here for Cardano. You're just here to make some money, you know? Yeah, I did say side chains. Doe Digital now. Chaga said, I see the D parameter as the centralization factor. Yeah, for sure. Does 8,000 have to be in one wallet? Can you move the ADA to one wallet to another wallet while wallets are staked? Yeah, you can move ADA from one wallet to another while they're staked. And then 8,000, I would say probably has to be in one wallet for the voting. I'm not sure, but I would guess, yeah. G. Sean Walker said, if everyone uses Amazon or Google or Microsoft for servers, does that cause a centralization problem with the network? I mean, in a way, you know, but let's look at the alternative, right? I mean, there are a lot of service providers, and I do recommend people that don't just use the big names. But, I mean, even if I were to set up Bloom at my house, right? First of all, I don't think that's professional unless you have fiber connection and you really know what you're doing on the ISP side. You still have to go through an internet service provider. So it's like if everyone's running their nodes at home, you're still tied to the set few service providers that actually offer internet to your house, right? Whether it's Verizon or AT&T or Spectrum in America, you're still centralizing in a way to those providers, right? As far as if I think it's going to be a centralization problem, I don't think so. I think there are enough service providers, there are enough people willing to run stake pools on bare metal or on other service providers that I don't think it's going to be a problem. Arun said, seems expensive to get into stake pooling now. Yeah, running a stake pool is really expensive, man. It is. And the price of ADA is not high enough to warrant a lot of people running a stake pool at this current time. Yep, Stephen Aldrich said, yes, at this time, one wallet. So we are at an hour and 8 minutes. So if you guys have any more questions, we can do some final ones. As I said before, if you guys could leave on a like on this video, I really appreciate it. We're at 95 right now. Can we get above 120 before we get out of here? That'd be awesome. Also, another thing, if you guys could click that little notification bell, it's right below the video. It's right there. That notification bell does more for me on YouTube than anything else that you could do for me. It helps me with the algorithm. It helps push my video. It helps advertise me to new people. So it'd mean a lot if you guys could actually click that notification bell for me and click that like button. If you guys have any other questions, we'll answer them before we get off here. And then we'll head out. Big B said, Crow has 100K pledge. Crypto Crow. JJ said, when Coinbase? That's a good question, man. I think it's going to be coming soon, though. I mean, so I actually looked at other currencies. A lot of currencies that get listed on Coinbase actually do the Coinbase custodial program the same way that ADA is doing. So I think you had to do that to be a part of it. You had to provide a little bit of liquidity, and then we'll have Coinbase. So that'll be a nice big pump when it happens, but I think it'll be happening soon. We might have to be fully decentralized first, though. Heartsweet said, I see cryptocurrency being the future, but it's a controlled form of the currency. If the system doesn't like you, they can just wipe out your account. How can you protect yourself? Heartsweet, that's a really big fear of mine. I really do see cryptocurrency being the future, and it's really on us as to whether we get a centralized currency or a decentralized currency. I really hope the future is decentralized, but there's nothing stopping that. The only thing is we have to increase that exponent. You have to tell your friends and family about Cardano. You have to tell your friends and family about decentralized protocols, and you have to tell them that in the future we have one choice. We have a choice of a centralized currency that's backed by a government that can wipe your funds at any time, that can attach a social credit score. I honestly, and this might seem a little doomery, but I feel like we are heading into a centralized authoritarian state in most countries because of the internet, because of how useful it is, and because of how connected we are. And the only thing stopping that is a decentralized currency, right? So right now, you have to tell your friends and family. You have to raise that exponent each day. Tell a new person about ADA, about Cardano, about cryptocurrency, and about decentralization, and about financial freedom. I think that's the only thing stopping us from that, man. It's the only way to secure ourselves. CMS said, have a bare metal and a fiber tech experience with lots of ADA. Want to start a stake pool? What are good resources to learn? I like Coin Cashew. That's a good place to do it. I also do provide stake pool consultation if you want someone to run a stake pool for you, or you want some help on running your own stake pool. I do charge to provide stake pool consultation services, or I run your stake pool for you. You can email me at peyton@bloompool.com. Jeswar said, just got here and you're almost done. We'll play in the replay then. Thank you. I appreciate that. Watching from Spain and a new subscriber. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would love to visit Spain. Like there was a guy running it on his phone already. Yeah, you can run it on your phone. I've heard of that guy. You think Coinbase does not like us because we are a threat to ETH? That could be the case. G-Son Walker said, I heard a while back that a stake pool has been hacked, and that made me nervous about trying to start my own stake pool at this point. Yeah, you can be hacked, man. You have to be a competent stake pool operator to run a stake pool, not only for your own safety, but also for the health of the network. Joseph Leonard said, social credit in a capitalist system is redundant. Yeah, of course, man. Because in a way, your dollar value is your social credit. Heartsweet said, thanks for answering my question. So Missouri said, what do you think about the idea that in the future someone could sell their pool for profit, because brand and maybe a block production and the history has value? I don't know. That's an interesting concept, man. I mean, if someone's willing to buy, I could see it happen. As far as if I think it's a bad thing, I don't think so. Yeah, it's really interesting though. It'd be weird to see people kind of come into the network and sell or like build up a following and then just sell their pool and leave, like a stake pool pump and dump scheme, but I think you would lose a lot of the loyalty with your brand and your delegates. I mean, can you guys imagine if I one day said, hey guys, I'm actually selling Bloom? I mean, most of you guys would leave, I would think, It's at least my thoughts. Rob said, are you self-funded? Your pledges are huge. I am not self-funded. Real Hockey Pool said, office pools. But yeah, we'll close out on that. Like I said earlier, if you guys want to support, let's see if we can do it. We need 7 more likes to get over 120. We're at 114, 7 more. Also, please click that little notification bell. It's like right here, or I guess it'd be right here for you, right below here. Click that notification bell. It helps me out with that algorithm. Thank you guys again for stopping by this live stream. It means so much. I haven't done an AMA in a month, so I thought there wasn't going to be a good turnout, but there was more people in this AMA than I've ever had before. Thank you guys, man. The support on Bloom and on my YouTube channel, it really humbles me and it makes me happy, and I enjoy doing this stuff each and every day. I enjoy educating myself, and it's always a pleasure to answer your guys' questions. So I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. We did get over 120. Close on that. Heckin' yeah.